Hello Jr.4, I'm Miss Ayat. I come for you today with our first grammar lesson, which is about present simple and the adverbs of frequency. Let's start. First thing we have to know is why do we use present simple? We can use present simple to talk about activities we do regularly in present. For example, I go to school every day. And we can use present simple to talk about general truth in life. For example, the sun rises every day. This is a fact. You know that and you can deny that. And last thing, to talk about permanent situations. For example, my dad works in a hospital. He can't change that now or for the short period. So we have to use present simple to talk about permanent situations. There are many time expressions. Let us know if we have to use present simple. Time expressions go at the beginning or at the end of a sentence. For example, every day, every month, every year. Once a day, which means one time in the day. Once a day, once a week, once a month, once a year. Twice, which means two times. Twice a day, twice a week, twice a month, twice a year. Three times a day, or week, or month, or year. A period in the day, like in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, and at night. And frequency indicators like always, usually, often, sometimes, and never. Like today, like on Monday, on Thursday, like in July, in August. Now, how can we form the present simple affirmative? For the subject pronouns I, you, we, they, and plural nouns like my friends, we have to use the infinitive verb, which means the verb in the base form. Like I work, you work, we work, they work, my friends work. But with he, she, and it and singular nouns, we have to add s, and in some situations we can add es. Like he works, she works, it works, my dad works, Adam works. Here are some examples. I get up at 7 every morning. I wash my face and hands every day. They have breakfast at 7. You brush your teeth twice a day. Notice here the main verb in the red color is the infinitive or the base form without any addition. As we said, after he, she, it, and the singular nouns, we have to add s to the main verb like run, runs, read, reads. And if the verb ends with e, we also have to add only s. Like smile, smiles, write, writes. But if the verb ends in y, we have two situations. The first one is if the verb ends in a vowel, then followed by y, the vowel is a strong letter, can keep the y in the verb when the s enter the verb. So we have only to add s to the verb without changing anything. Like play, plays, pay, pays. The second situation is when the verb ends with a consonant letter, then followed by y. The consonant is a very weak letter and can't protect the y. So we have to replace the y with I and then add es. like study, studies, cry, cries. If the verb ends in one of these letters, which are O, SS, SH, CH, X, or Z, we have to add ES at the end of the verb, like go, goes, mess, messes, wash, washes, watch, watches, relax, relaxes, spreads, spreads. Here are some examples. He gets dressed at 7 every morning. He often goes to school every day. She teaches lessons every day. He usually studies English in the evening. In the negative form of present simple, we use do and does before the main verb with not. But when we can use don't and when we can use doesn't. We use don't with I, you, we, they. For example, I don't cry. You don't cry. We don't cry. They don't cry. We use doesn't with he, she, it. For example, he doesn't cry. She doesn't cry. It doesn't cry. Notice here we didn't change the main verb or add anything s or es because the helping verb doesn't has the es in it. So in the negative form we don't change the verb. Examples: I don't shave every morning. They don't play football every week. He doesn't have a shower every day. He doesn't draw a sun today. To form yes or no questions, we use do and does. We use do with I, you, we, they. For example, do I study? Do you study? Do we study? Do they study? We use does with he, she, it. For example, does he study? Does she study? Does it study? Notice here the main verb without any changing. So, in interrogative or yes or no question form, we don't change the verb. Examples with short answers. Does he sleep early? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Do you go home at 2 p.m.? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Does she comb her hair? Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. Do they dance after school? Yes, they do. No, they don't. We use adverbs of frequency when we talk about habits or when we want to say how often something happens. The adverbs of frequency are never, sometimes, often, usually, always. Notice here the word order between the adverbs of frequency and the verbs. With the main verb, the adverbs of frequency comes before the verb. But with the verb to be, the adverbs of frequency comes after the verb to be. So, how can we ask about frequency? What type of question can we use to know how many times something happens? We can use how often. So, how often means I want to know the frequency or I want to know how many times something happens. For example, how often do you brush your teeth? I want here to know how many times do you brush your teeth? Is it every day? Is it every weekend? Is it every morning? Is it every evening? Or you can give me a number, which can be once a day, which means one time, or twice a day, which means two times, or three times a week, three times a month, etc. Now it's time of practice. Open your booklet page 75. The first question is choose the correct answer between brackets. Number 1. Dana walked or walks or is walking to school every morning. Here we are talking about a habit. So we have to use present simple. The subject is Dana or she. So we have to use the infinitive verb and add s. So the answer will be Dana walks to school every morning. Number 2, we don't go or aren't going or doesn't go to the club by bus. We are here also talking about a habit. And the subject is we. So we have to choose don't because of we. We don't go to the club by bus. Number 3, my family and I always are or are always lazy on Saturdays. We have here to take care of the order between the adverbs of frequency and the verb to be. The verb to be comes first, so we have to choose are always. My family and I are always lazy on Saturdays. Number 4, is or do or does mom take the baby for a walk? Here we are asking a question in the present simple because of the verb take. So we have to choose between do or does. But the subject here is mom, she. So we have to choose does. Does mom take the baby for a walk? Does mom take the baby for a walk? Okay, number 5. Tom usually played or is playing or plays at home. It's a habit of Tom and he do it usually. So we have to choose the infinitive verb and add s because of the subject Tom or he. So the answer will be Tom usually plays at home. Number 6. Rana always is brushing or brushes her teeth before bedtime. Here we are talking about Rana. The subject is Rana or she and it's habit of her. So we have to choose the infinitive verb and add s to the verb. But the verb here ends in sh. So we have to choose brushes with es. The answer will be Rana always brushes her teeth before bedtime. Number 7. People in London speak or speaks or is speaking English. That's the habit of the people in London. So we have to choose the infinitive verb without adding anything because people here is plural noun. People in London speak English. Number 8. The train leave or is leaving or leaves at 7 tomorrow. It's a scheduled time. So we have to choose something represents present simple. So we have to choose the verb with s because of the subject here, the train or it. The train leaves at 7 tomorrow. Number 9. My dad usually holds or held or is holding my little sister. That's my dad habit. So we have to use present simple. Here we have to choose the verb with S because the subject pronoun will be my dad or he. My dad holds my little sisters. Okay, number 10. We visit or visited or visiting our granny on Sunday. That's our habit to visit our granny on Sunday. So we have to choose the infinitive verb without adding anything because of the subject we. We visit our granny on Sunday. Second, rewrite the following sentences using the words in bracket. Number 1, I always see my cousins at the weekends. We have to choose here how often to ask a question. So, first thing to do is to make yes or no question and add how often before the yes or no question. The yes or no question here will start with do because the answer has I and I will make it you in the question. So we will start with do. Do you see your cousins? Because my cousins here in the answer, but in the question will be your cousins. Do you see your cousins? And before the yes or no question, we can add how often. How often do you see your cousins? The answer will be I always see my cousins at the weekends. Number 2, my mom isn't cooking now. The tense here is present continuous. Isn't cooking is present continuous. I have to do it in the present, or I have to make it in the present simple. So I have to remove now and put any other time expression or don't put any other expression. So we will make it my mom doesn't. Can I put ing to the verb after doesn't? No, the verb will be in infinitive form. My mom doesn't cook, for example, every day or every week or whatever you want. So my mom doesn't cook. My mom doesn't cook. Number 3, I have a guitar lesson 5 times a week. Use often. So often is adverb of frequency. We have to put it before the main verb. The main verb here is have. So I have to make it like this. I often have a guitar lesson 5 times a week. Number 4, correct the mistake in the sentence. Celine never is late for school. Where is the mistake? Good guess. The mistake will be never is. You have to change the order between never and is. So it will be Celine is never late for school. Number 5, Alfred watches TV every night. You have to add always to the sentence. So we have to add always before the main verb. Yes, excellent. It will be Alfred always watches TV every night. Alfred always watches TV every night. Thank you and do your homework please, and we will correct it for you very soon.